Well, hello, 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 and welcome to The Difference Makers. We are here live on LinkedIn. We are here live on Facebook and live on YouTube. I am your host, Jacqueline Grant, and this is The Difference Makers, where we interview those who are making a difference in the lives of others based on their gifts, talents, and abilities, what they are doing in their career, whether it's a 9-to-5 job or as an entrepreneur. Again, we are here to make a difference. We are here to showcase the difference that really great people are making in the world. So we have a wonderful guest that is appearing to be quite popular based on the notifications that I've been receiving, the emails and direct messages I've been receiving. This is a hot, hot topic. We had a guest a few weeks ago that was on a similar but different topic on utilizing your style to be able to communicate more effectively, especially since post-COVID. Maybe we're going back to work, going back into the office, or really just re-engaging with people. And sometimes that's a little bit challenging because we've been closed in for a while. We have been off to ourselves. We've been in these boxes here in Zoom chats, but we haven't been in person. So now that you're about to get back into re-engaging with people, what's going to be your style? How are you going to showcase how you've grown and changed over the last year? Our guest today is going to share with you how to communicate your style to be able to get raises, promotions, new positions, because how you dress is how you want to be addressed. I love that caption. So let's talk about our guest for today. Let me introduce Renee Lindo. Let me share with you that Renee is a powerful professional. She's what we call the ex-corporate. She used to be in the corporate world, so she knows a bit about what she's talking about. And she helps professional women to showcase their style internally and externally. She has helped others to create a polished wardrobe and their image by being a personal stylist. She especially works with women, but we have some men who have been interested in this topic. They've sent me a message, and we do not discriminate. So, men, you are welcome as well, because you have a personal style, you have a personal brand, and you need to showcase that to be able to move forward in your career as well, whether you are a 9-to-5 worker or an entrepreneur. So she has a corporate sales background, so it's all about projecting confidence and being able to share who you are, what you do, how you do it, to be able to make that sale, make that impact, get that job, get that promotion. She has a keen, keen eye for style. If you've checked out her LinkedIn or her Instagram, she's posing in some fabulous fashions, and you need to check that out because she is hot. I want to share with you today Renee Lindo, who is making a difference, and that's why she's here on The Difference Makers. Welcome, Renee.
Wow, Jacqueline, thank you so much. I can hang it up. That's always an awesome introduction. Thank you so much.
Well, you gave me all the fuel to make it powerful. So thank you. You are here. You are hot, 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 because you are here in red hot. You're dressed in red. And we know that color has a lot to do with how you communicate and how your message is interpreted, whether it's the color from your logo, whether it's the color that you wear, it all sends a message. So red means power, confidence, and that's why you're probably in your red. And you also have in your background, which also makes a big difference because that's part of your overall image as well. Your background and how you are surrounded by color, placement, and all of that. So I know you're going to talk about that, but share with us a bit, Renee, about how you got started transitioning from the corporate world into entrepreneurship.
So, thanks for having me. I have to say, Jacqueline, it's so great to be here. And I love talking about this topic. So my background is corporate. I come from pharmaceutical sales and sales leadership actually is my background. So I built my career, a very successful pharma sales career. And I just realized that, I'd reached the top of my mountain and I was very successful, done well. And when I looked around, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the wrong mountain. I'm at the top, but it's not really where I want to be. I want to be over there. I just felt that I knew that when I looked good, when I put myself together, when I was dressed well, it gave me the confidence to put my hand up for more. I was the only woman at my level at these meetings, in these boardrooms. And I knew that it gave me a sense of confidence. And I said, if I could help women, if I could really, I wanted to play bigger in this role. If I could help women to really show up for themselves, step into spaces where maybe they were afraid to or weren't, or they didn't think they could even go before. That's what I wanted to do. And I've always loved fashion and style, something I was good at. I did it from a little girl with my mom, and growing up, even in university, I'd help my friends. And so I said, you know what, this is my gift. This is what I enjoy doing. This is what I am good at. People come for advice. I says, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to bet on me, right? I've been very successful for Big Pharma, launched big products, done very well, led a sales team. And I said, I'm going to bet on me and, use some of those skills that I have and start my business.
Wow.
So here I am.
Fantastic. We're glad you are here because number one, am a fan because we have so much in common. We have so much synergy because number one, we are LinkedIn connections. So that's
yes.
First and foremost. We are connected here on LinkedIn, but also your story that you just shared of a love of fashion, that your mom was in fashion. And that was my case as well. My mother was in the fashion industry. She worked on 7th Avenue for her entire career. And of course, I caught the fashion bug as well. So I have certain things that I just intrinsically know just from being around her. And
yes.
I'm assuming it's the same for you.
Yes.
So It doesn't just happen accidentally, even with the placement of your background.
Yeah.
Just know, everyone out there, that doesn't just happen by accident. It just didn't happen that way.
Right.
She was strategic in the things that are predominant, but also the things that are more subtle, because all of it goes into painting the picture of success.
Yes, all of it does. And when I think about it now, I always say fashion is it's just who I am, or not fashion. I'm going to say style because there's quite a bit of difference, but more style. It's just a part of who I am. It's what we've always done, always kind of enjoyed. And so things that people may struggle with or they're not quite sure of, it's just easy for me. I don't even think about it, and they'll say, "How did you know to do that?" Or "Why did you think?" It was just, when you do something over and over, or you're exposed to those types of decisions and exposed to different types of styles and the things that I enjoy looking at. I mean, other people will be like, just shoot me, right? I browse shopping. I browse fashion and style for hours, right? That gives me joy. My friend is like, oh my God, take me away, So
that's very funny that you say that because my husband actually calls when I watch all the shopping channels. That's my sports because he watches his sports. That's my sports.
Exactly. Exactly.
Tell us how you see things now as we're coming out of COVID. How does that impact our style? How do we need to update, change, adjust for 2021 and beyond?
Yeah. Well, this is so important. This is something I'm talking a lot about with my clients. So first thing I want us to all to embrace, ladies and gents, we need to give ourselves some grace. Okay, give ourselves some grace. We have been through a lot. Most of us have been through a lot. Lots of changes happened. And so throughout the pandemic, right? And okay, so how we are now versus post-COVID and pre-COVID, very different in terms of maybe what we want to wear or what we are wearing. Many of us have gained some weight. I saw some research recently about 50% of people don't wear the same size anymore. And then even if you do, the stuff that you wore a year and a half ago, you may not even want to wear anymore, right? You feel like you have either outgrown them, it's not your style, or you want to show up differently. You're like, you know what? That used to be, but I no longer want to wear a suit, blazer, whatever that was for you. So we have changed. And style, even without COVID, just style in general, style changes. And we change, we grow and evolve. And as we do that, our style needs to change too. So, I'm helping women, some men as well, to really not feel, because a lot of people are feeling stuck. They're like, I may have to go back to the office. Whether we're talking about fall, people are heading back to the office, some 2022, but they're feeling stuck. Like, I don't want to wear what I have anymore. But what do I wear? What's now appropriate? What is that going to be? Mm-hmm. And what I'm speaking to folks about really is thinking about, how do you want to show up? Because that is something that's really near and dear to me. Even before COVID was, as a stylist, we may think, okay, we're just going to buy some cute outfits. With me, it's a little bit different. I start internally. I start with the woman. I start with the person. Like, let's talk about you. Who are you? How do you want to show up? How do you want people to meet you? Because I say how we show up or clothing, this is our biggest communication tool. This is how we say who we are, right? And it's all a part of that personal brand. Our personal brand is personal to us. So it's fine to be, I'm not saying that, trendy is not my word, right? Sure, we want to be current and we want to look that we know what's going on. We weren't trapped in a time capsule. But I say current and not trendy. When you think of it that way, it really allows you to invest in pieces that are going to take you much longer. It's okay to have a few pieces that are trendy or current, but I would say 80% of your wardrobe really needs to be timeless, classic pieces that are going to grow with you and move with you throughout the different stages of your life or your lifestyle. And then a few fun, trendy pieces. So as we talk about now COVID and how you want to show up, think about comfort, right? Most people are like, they want to get away from the blazers and the suits, and but a lot of industries now, even we think about the more formal banking, law, government, instead of the suits, they're thinking a lot more of what they're calling maybe smart casual. Maybe it's just for men, a blazer or a sport coat and a button-down shirt with no tie. Women, something that maybe not a full suit or blazer, but maybe a cardigan or a sweater vest, a sweater jacket type thing. But I think one of the
soft suiting, is that what?
Yeah, soft suiting. So I think one of the first things to keep in mind is to really think about comfort. And some folks will think that comfort and professional are mutually exclusive, but I'm here to tell you, you can be professional and still be very comfortable. Retailers have done a great job of really using materials and fabrics that are going to move with you. They're not restrictive, but they're still made more streamlined and fit your body so that you can move and still show up well for yourself, because that is so important. We communicate who we are. We tell the world who we are, I say, before we even start speaking, just by how we look.
Absolutely. And it can make or break your opportunity that you're looking for, that you're hoping for, that you're dreaming for. I can tell you so many times where just what I had on made a difference. I'll give you just a very brief example. And this was not even in a work situation. So imagine in a work situation how effective it can be. I was attending a live audience show, and it was in the middle of winter, so we had to line up outside. It was a very popular show, and we had to line up outside to go in. And I was hoping to be in the lower level, because that was the level not only that had the best view of the stage, but also where camera views would likely happen. And so I was very disappointed when they broke the line and said, that's all for the lower level. The rest of you come follow me. And they took us to another entrance where we were going to be going to the upper level of the theater. So little did I know, that's why you always have to be prepared. You never know who's watching. Little did I know, as we were walking in, and there was someone there who was watching the line, and they said, hold on, you come with me. And they took me and my date, and we were second row center based on what I had on. And nothing that I did, but how you show up gives you opportunity.
Even airlines. I've been upgraded so many times by what you wear.
Yes.
Right? It happens. And how many opportunities were you not even given because they say, no. Right? So when I work with clients and we talk about personal brand and really the importance of aligning your image with your brand, right? It's one thing to say, you create all these great marketing assets and you have a polished resume that speak to how fantastic you are and what a great business you have. And then when they meet you, right, and you show up and you look nothing like what they're expecting you to look like from the resume or what your marketing assets say, they're like, ooh, right? There is a disconnect. And they're like, well, okay, so if I invest in this person, whether it's invest with buying a service or invest with hiring them, if I invest in this person, what am I going to get? Am I going to get what this beautiful glossy resume or marketing assets say, or am I going to get the person that's in front of me? Right. So when you have confusion, confused minds say no, or they don't buy. right? So it's so important that you align your image with your brand and what you want to say about you, how you control the narrative. I always say that you control how the message that you're sending to your audience and the people who are seeing you. And first impressions, 7 seconds. I think it's even less than 7 seconds now, but the data that I saw is 7 seconds, and people make really strong decisions about you quickly.
And it sometimes may not be fair, it may not be right, but that's
exactly right. Because I'll get pushback like, oh, that should never happen. I'm a good person, I'm a great employee, I'm a team player, I am whatever it is that you think you are. It doesn't matter. Yeah, we're not saying it's fair or right, but this is the world that we live in. This is what happens. It's a part of human nature, and we all do it. We judge people just by how they look and what they and the stories that we through our glass, right? Through our glasses. So if you want to, but the point is, you can control that. You can tell your story. If you allow others to tell your story for you, it may not be the story that you want to tell.
Exactly. So what would you say, Renee, is the key thing that we need to look at as we now start to go out with our new selves, meaning we've had some time to kind of reflect, think back who we are, what we want to do, what has worked for us, what hasn't worked for us over this COVID year. So now that we maybe have a better sense of what we want to do, how we want to do it, how do we align that internal with the external?
Yeah. So one of the first things I do when I work with clients that I suggest is to get some inspiration, spend some time, to spend a few minutes. And this is a part that people always miss, because I say, okay, this is how I want to show up, and I run and go shop. But I really want you to take a step back and really think about that clearly. So you said you've spent the time over COVID and you have a better idea of how you want to show up. So now sit back and even just start. I like to just have my clients just write out, okay, how I see, write out how you see yourself. How would you like to be known and seen? Kind of write out what that looks like. What are you wearing? How are you feeling? Who is there? Come up, and usually some words will fall in. And then get some inspiration, whether it is somebody on TV, a style icon, a movie, magazines, and kind of put those pictures together so that you say, and when you look at it, you're like, yes, this is how I want to show up. This is me, right? So it really helps you if you are, you're wanting to create this new you. At least you have something tangible to refer to, and then you can take that and look at your closet and see, how does your closet that you currently have, how does that relate to what your goal is? And if there is some disparity and it's not really aligned, then you can start to get rid of the stuff that no longer serves you, get rid of the stuff that doesn't speak to me anymore. And then you start to build out a wardrobe that is really you.
Wow, that's great advice. I hope everyone is taking good note. And what I'd like to do is to ask you a question, Renee, that we will come back after the break for your answer. And the question is, after we've taken a look at our closet, we've shopped our closet and determined what should stay and what should go, or what no longer serves us. I love how you put that. What should be the next step that we should take to keep us moving in the right direction for where it is that we want to go in our careers, in our lives, in our entrepreneurial endeavors? Because sometimes we have these dreams of entrepreneurship, whether we have already started, or we have already started that journey, or we are about to start that journey and we're making that kind of unsteady step. And we have to make sure that we show up in a powerful way that speaks to this new life that we're going after. So tell us what should be the next 2 or 3 steps after looking at our closet. And again, this is for our gentlemen out there as well. It's for the ladies and the gentlemen, taking a look at what we need to do for our closets, and then what is the next step. So stay tuned. We will be back with Renee Lindo with the answer to that burning question. So everyone, we are on a little bit of a break of interviewing with Renee Lindo here on The Difference Makers. But I want to share with you, how did I meet Renee? She's one of my LinkedIn connections. And I have many LinkedIn connections that I actually know. Imagine that. I actually know many of them. Now, I either know them in person or through a phone call or a Zoom call or some other method, but I have a point of connection with them where they know a bit about me and I know a bit about them. And depending on the person, I would know them, even more and more depending on our engagements and so forth. But I ask you a question. How many of your LinkedIn connections do you actually know? And if that number is smaller than what you would like, how are you going to change that? Because everything that you need to succeed in your career or in your business, you likely have that person on LinkedIn. 780 million people are on LinkedIn. So the decision makers, the hiring managers, the department heads, all of those who you may want to engage with are on LinkedIn. So I want to share with you that I have a program called LinkedIn Client Formula. And if you are interested in utilizing LinkedIn more efficiently, more effectively, knowing what to say as well as what not to say, and how to really build business relationships, it's so much more than having a pretty profile. There's lots of information out there about how to improve your profile. But what I help you to do is to build those business relationships. So if you'd like to know more, please send me a direct message or put something into the chat that I can contact and follow up with you. But until then, let's go back to our show with Renee Lindo. Renee, welcome back.
Yes.
So we have shopped our closet. We've taken some things out that no longer serve us. We have kept certain things that we enjoy, we love, that serves us, that allows us to still feel confident. And now what do we do?
Well, it's so funny that you asked the steps, because I created this, my framework called the Style Story, right, that I take clients through. And so it's just beautiful how you asked it, because it's just like any story that you read or write, like a movie, right? There are certain aspects of it for it to be a really strong and powerful story. We start with a plan. I talked about the plan before. We talked about your closet. Pardon?
I said, project managers, listen up, listen for the plan.
Yeah, but it's just amazing how the conversation is really taking us through this style story. Because any story or anything that you're going to start, you need a clearer plan. So we started with the plan. Then I talk about the scene, right? The scene of where your story comes alive, and that's your closet, right? That's the step 2. And then the next step is really a point I think that is key for women and men. I think we miss that, is really trying to understand our body shape. So every story, there's a main character, right? And so for your style story, you are the main character. You are the star of the show. So even if you've cleaned out your closet, but you're not sure if you want to be sure that the pieces that you've kept work for your body shape, right? Work that the silhouettes are going to be flat for you, that you are accentuating your assets, you're balancing your proportions. So understanding how to dress your body shape is really, really a critical piece of your style story, and choosing pieces that are really going to allow you to show up well, allow you to look good and feel good, right? It's not just about wearing what's in style and the latest trend, because that may not work for you. That may not work for your body shape. Some of the things, if you carry your weight in your hips, right? You may not want to wear skirts that have a lot of detail on the lower half, lots of pleats, lots of buttons, lots of detail. You may want to carry all of that up in the top so that you're balanced, you're in proportion. So there's things like that to think about your body shape and the pieces that you're going to wear to accentuate the shape that you have. Because listen, the bottom line is that you want to feel confident. If you're going into these new opportunities, you're going into a new work situation, you're going in to meet a new client, you've cleaned out the closet, you know how you have an idea how you want to show up. You want to feel confident. You want to feel good. And if you're not comfortable in your clothes, if the clothing that you're wearing or that you've chosen really is kind of uncomfortable, and when you sit, it doesn't feel good, or you just don't feel like yourself, you want to choose pieces that allow you to shine through. That is the bottom line. Pieces that really say who you are, allow your personality to be center stage. Because listen, we've spent so much time trying to fit in, so much time trying to be like everybody else and not rock the boat. But I'm here to tell you that now what is really important, what people jive with, what people want to connect to is you. right? You have that special sauce, you have your special gift. And the more you allow yourself to show up and shine through that, it's the more know, like, and trust. It's that more that those relationships can happen and the engagement.
Wow. Well, can you give us an example of a client that you've worked with? What was her situation before she came to you? What did you do with her, and how did she shine afterwards?
Oh, sure. So a recent client I had, she was actually on mat leave, but getting ready to go back into the workplace. And she was now going into an executive level, marketing, really young, bright professional. And so I worked with her because all she really had was, mommy clothes, young clothes, maternity clothes. And so she really wanted to show up differently. She knew that for her to get to the roles that she wanted and for her team to really see her in that role, she needed to show up differently. So I worked with her, really got to understand what her style was. And the thing is, her style is different from mine, but it is her style. And so we were able to, pick pieces that allowed her, she's quiet, she's very minimal, but still wanted to show up very powerfully, and still wanted to show up as, she's an expert and she looks youthful. So she wanted to give her a little bit more, worldly look, if that's even a thing, but something just a little bit more elevated. I think that's the word. So wanted to elevate her style. And so we worked through that, had stuff come in. She had the try-on session, and it was amazing. I mean, just her energy when she sent pictures, she's like, oh my goodness, I look amazing. I feel amazing. And throughout that process, she didn't even go back to the job that she left. She interviewed for another job, a higher level job at another company, and got the job. And, it was her confidence, her feeling like, you know what, I look good. I can do this. It was just, and I'm not saying that wasn't the piece necessarily, but it was that confidence that wearing the clothing gave her. And it's those are the transformations that I so enjoy. I call it the mirror transformations, where women look at themselves in the mirror and they're like, you know what? I never thought I could look this good. My God, I feel amazing. I look amazing. And when you tell yourself those things, it comes through, right? Your energy shifts. You become high vibe, and it's next level. And that is magnetic. People love that.
Is very, very true. I've seen it. I've experienced it myself. Yeah. And so, Renee, if people want that magnetic feeling, that powerful, confident feeling, how can they get in contact with you?
Oh, my goodness. Yes. I play on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. So it's Renee Lindo. And my website is letsgetdressednow.com. And I'm also on Instagram. So you can find out a little bit more about me and my more personal stuff on Instagram under my company. That's Let's Get Dressed Now. But yes, please, I'd love to chat and help you if you are struggling with really getting back into, I call it emerging from pandemic.
Wow. Well, we have learned so much from you, Renee, and we've gotten some inspiration and education. And for the ladies and the gentlemen, please contact Renee Lindo. Let's Get Dressed Now is her company, and she'll be ready to work with you. So thank you so much, Renee. It's been a pleasure working with you here on the Difference Makers and being able to share your expertise, your gifts, talents, and abilities with the world. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on.
Thank you. Thanks, Jacqueline. Great being here. Thanks for having me.